Welcome to part 6 of chapter 9. In this part of chapter 9, we will talk about managing project teams. So throughout the duration of your project, you will have to manage your project teams on virtually daily basis. Some of the main activities or tools or methods for managing teams include, first of all, observation and conversation, talking to people. I think any manager should spend a sufficient portion of his or her time just simply talking to people, discussing their concerns, so that the manager understands what's happening with people, with the overall project, with teamwork. Observation sometimes is very useful. Personally, I've noticed that a lot of managers have this weakness. They put too much confidence in what people say, but you know that you can say whatever you want. It's real things, real actions that happen in real world that matter, right? So don't just believe what people say. Observe on your own to determine how confident you can be in what people say. That reminds me of an episode from a book on project management, and this book is it's like a novel. It's a funny read, by the way. It's one of the recommended readings in your syllabus. It's a novel by DeMarco. It's called The Deadline. So they talk about an experienced project manager who was recruiting people for her team, and she said something interesting. I mean, she looks at every potential team member CV, but she says to her accomplice, I guess, a coworker, that she doesn't even bother reading people's CVs, and she says that when she interviews people, she doesn't even pay attention to what they're saying, because she was kind of hinting that they're lying about their experience, about their achievements. She just looks at them, and she kind of pays attention to nonverbals. She tries to get that emotional sense of people. Are they lying? Are they trustworthy? Are they motivated? Are they smart or not? Right? So observation, is more important than conversation. Research shows that up to 90% of information is transmitted non-verbally, right? It's not about the words that come out of your mouth, it's how you say it, it's about your expressions. Formal project performance appraisals is another important tool where you set some formal KPIs, key performance indicators. So you see whether people are meeting them or not. So this is your chance to appraise somebody, to intervene, to develop somebody. Conflict management is also important, resolving conflicts. A lot of people, they think that, I think because they're good people, right? They try to avoid conflicts. But conflicts are natural to teamwork. One thing that I've learned is this. It's okay to have conflicts as long as those conflicts do not happen on a personal level. So if you want to criticize something, do not say something like, or you're incompetent, right? Don't say that, because it's something that touches on people's, self-worth, right? So don't do that. So instead attack their decisions, their actions, but not their personality. So instead of saying you're incompetent, you can say, your report that you send me has certain weaknesses, right? So you're saying the report is to blame, not the person behind this report. So as long as you don't keep it personal, I think it's okay to criticize, to bring certain deficiencies in people in a respectful way. So as long as you're respectful, as long as you don't attack people's personalities, then you should be fine as a project manager or as a general manager. And also don't let other people to be bullies, right? If somebody is creating trouble, then you need to address that. Again, you don't need to fight this person. Whenever I have the situation, the first thing I do, I try to talk to people in a very gentle, respectful way about this problem, and I'm trying to say, look, I like you, you're a great person, but there is this concern over what's happening. Please help me out and address this concern. And I'm not threatening at this point. I'm saying, please help me out to eliminate this issue, and if you do that, I would really appreciate that. I know you want to resolve this conflict as well. Maybe it's just misunderstanding. Of course, if it doesn't work, you can try one more time, but eventually, if you keep trying to do it in a if you're trying to neutralize a troublemaker in a respectful way several times, it's not working, then you need to become more firm. You need to say, look, you'll be fired if you don't do that. But at first, allow people to save their face. Try to do it in a gentle way. If you don't address conflicts, you'll say, well, I don't want to be a bad guy, I don't want to discipline anybody, then it's going to escalate into a bigger problem within your team. And also you will lose some respect from your team members. They will not respect you as a manager, right? Because a manager is somebody who resolves issues, not the one who hopes that other people will resolve those issues. Um, Sometimes project managers, they have issue logs, like some kind of complaints mechanism where people record issues with other people or with their performance. And then all kinds of interpersonal skills come into play when you're trying to manage people. Ability to listen, to really understand people. What are the things that are behind those words, right? Being a great communicator, clearly communicating what you want in a respectful way so that people understand what you want and they don't feel like you're bossing them around or you're trying to attack their personalities. So interpersonal skills matter, of course. Reward and recognition systems is probably one of the most powerful tools for managing people, managing teamwork. One way to facilitate teamwork is to introduce team-based rewards and recognition systems. In other words, you're saying that the team will be rewarded or punished as a team. You cannot escape that responsibility. You cannot say, "Oh, it's other people to blame." I mean, if you're part of the team, then make sure that other people do what they're supposed to do. Focus on rewarding teams for achieving specific goals, like one goal at a time. Make it easier for them to understand what needs to be done and when. And also introduce some, leverage the team dynamics for your own gain. Allow time for team members to mentor and help each other so that you don't have to help and mentor people. Sometimes, people are much more comfortable being disciplined, mentored, or taught by their peers than supervisors, because if you're a supervisor, then some team members do not even want you to see their weaknesses because they are afraid that this may have impact on their tenure with the company. So delegate it. I mean, delegate it to other people, and you may get much better results. And this headache will be removed from your shoulders. Some general advice on teams: be patient with your team members. Again, I've noticed that some people who cannot be managers, they're just not patient with people. In other words, they get very irritated when somebody is not following their requests or their orders, right? They get very irritated when people keep making the same mistake. And I remember what my boss used to say is that when you're working with a team, right, your goal is to train somebody in doing something, and that may require some time and effort. You may do it over and over again, but once you do it, it's gone from your shoulders forever. This person knows what needs to be done. He or she will make decisions on the spot. So that's what being managed all about, getting things done through other people. I mentioned this principle to you before: fix problems instead of blaming people. Don't attack people, fix the problems, attack problems. Establish regular effective meetings. You have to meet regularly with the team to make sure that you're in the loop, you know what's happening, but at the same time, meetings need to be effective. I remember like one of my bosses, he was hated because his meetings were notoriously long. I mean, he would schedule a meeting for 1 hour in the morning. It will drag the entire morning. He will, so many things will be included. So people avoided him and his teams at all costs because they know that they will spend hours sitting in those exhaustive meetings. And another thing that demotivated people, not only those meetings, they last hours, then nothing material comes up out of those meetings. Allow teams to go through those basic team building stages. It's natural. Don't be impatient. Let them fight. Let them storm. Let them norm before they start performing. Limit the size of work teams to 3 to 7 members. The Scrum Handbook says that the ideal development team size is between 3 and 9 people, no more than 9. At least 3 members need to be on the team. If you don't have enough people, then you don't have enough expertise, enough human power to complete things. If you have more than 9 members, then things become complicated in terms of communication and coordination. Plan some social activities to help project team members and other stakeholders to get to know each other, to bond. Stress team identity, make people proud to work for a particular team. That's what motivates them. That's something that can motivate them better than money. Nurture team members and encourage them to help each other. Again, transfer those responsibilities from your shoulders to other team members. And also keep in mind, if you're working with virtual teams, some people think that somehow it's easier to work online because you don't have to meet face to face. Well, in my experience, coordinating virtual teams requires twice as much work. So take additional actions, put additional effort if you're coordinating an online virtual team, meaning a team that is comprised of members working remotely in different countries. So this completes part 6 of chapter 9. Thank you for listening.